All right, it's time for another 2-card review. We're still on the Wasp hero pack. We're going through a bunch of aggression cards. We have an ally to go through, and we have an event to go through. The ally's fine, right? That's fine. It deals with overpaid, which I hate, so that's a whole thing. But then we have also an event, which is pretty interesting with Into the Fray. So we're gonna get into that, which I actually like that card a decent amount. I think it works pretty well. Maybe it's not as good as it used to be, but I think at the time it was pretty solid. So anyway, do me a huge favor. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave comments on these cards. I want to read all that stuff down below. Let's go check out these cards. All right, the first card we have is Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, aggression ally. It's a 0-cost card, which is always interesting. 1 thwart for 1 consequential damage, 3 attack, for 1 consequential damage and 0 life. Wasp gets +1 hit point for each PIM counter on her. So interrupt. When Wasp enters play, place 1 PIM counter on her to a maximum of 3 for each energy resource you overpaid for Wasp's cost. The big question that always comes up is how does the power of aggression work with this, right? So power aggression states that you get max 2 per deck, double the number of resources this card generates while paying for an aggression red card. Fantasy Flight Games has deemed that overpaying and paying are 2 very different things. So if you use the power of aggression, it would not generate 2 resources for Wasp, just 1. Because, again, power of aggression is generating while you're paying for something, and you're apparently not paying for Wasp, you're overpaying for Wasp. So just note that. I know that's a question that gets asked a lot. If you use the power of aggression, it only puts 1 counter on it. So how do I feel about Wasp? Janet, she's actually really good. Essentially, if you put in 3 and you get 2 attacks, it's 3 costs with 6 damage, or 3 for 9 if you don't want the block. But I would do 3. I would do 3 costs to get 6 damage and then get a block out of her. I think it's pretty good value. And I don't know if there's too many aerial things you can really do in aggression with her that would be interesting. There's a way to buff her or to give her more life. Obviously, that's a huge way to go too, because 3 attack is really strong. It's really good to get overall. I think maybe in like a multiplayer game, like if somebody can put team training on you or something, it's even more valuable, and she makes a lot more sense. But just talking about solo, I still think she's a pretty decent card. I actually like this card, so it's one that I use a fair amount, because it's just a lot of attack. It's a lot of attack. The worst thing is the power of aggression ruling on her, in my opinion. I do not like that. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about Wasp. Do you use her as an ally? I still do. Maybe I don't use her as much as I used to, but I feel like she still gets used, because it's even if I get 2 out there on her, it's nice to get the 3 attack for 2 and then like a block. Like, I'm still okay with that trade-off overall. The other card I want to talk about is a 3-cost event with Into the Fray. Like I said, 3-cost event, attack event from aggression, hero action. Again, attack, deals 6 damage to a minion. For each point of excess damage dealt by his attack, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. Now, back when this card came out, aggression had a really hard time dealing with the main, like a threat on the main scheme. Had like a really hard time. So this card made a lot of sense, because you could do a little bit of damage to a minion. Let's just say the minion had like 3 life, right? And you could do 2 damage, and then you could overkill the minion with Into the Fray by 5, removing 5 threat from the main scheme. Really cool. Like, I really like the way that works. I think it was really great at the time. It still has a place today. The problem is I don't always want to remove that threat from the main scheme, right? I wish it would have said remove threat from a scheme, and it would have been a lot more viable to work it with like the personal size schemes, or there's more or player size schemes, personal size schemes, player size schemes, whatever they are. It would have worked better with that. There's a lot more side schemes in general nowadays, so I really wish the card would have had that wording. Does Into the Fray still make it in some decks? Yeah, minion heavy decks where I want to like overkill onto it or do excess damage, as I say, and if I can team it up with something else to get overkill on the minion, that's even better. There are weird combos you can do with that, but I think in general it's still like it has a slight place. It just, I really wish it said other schemes as well. The fact that it doesn't kind of like really kind of hurts the card a bit. But yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts about Into the Fray and the Wasp ally down below. Once again, I appreciate everyone that's hit the subscribe button to this channel. Thank you so much. If you haven't checked out the Patreon links or the Medium link for the blog post, make sure you do that. We've been writing more blogs and whatever. It's been a lot of fun. So make sure you go check out those links down below. All the rest, the affiliates, go support the channel through affiliate links if you can. I appreciate everyone that does all that stuff. Thank you so much, and I will see you all next time.